Welcome to another edition of Spooky News from Spooky Ventures. Today is June 14th, 2024, and that means we're almost to the turning point where the days start getting shorter again, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. Before we get to the news, I have my usual announcements to make, but also something completely new. We're adding another member to the Spooky News team. He's going to be our remote reporter, and his name is D.B. Lovecraft, and those who saw the episode of Spooky Movie Time with Scary Gary that debuted on June 8th are probably familiar with him because he's also a part of that team. We'll catch up with DB shortly, but for now, I want to get the other usual announcements out of the way. First, remember, Spooky News, and really all things Spooky Ventures, is supposed to be interactive, and that's especially true of this YouTube channel. So please interact. You can do that by liking our videos, sharing our videos, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. You can also do that by sending us a message via the email interface you'll find on the main Spooky Ventures page at spookyventures.com. Also, please remember that you can find all the source and more information URLs in two places. First, you'll see them in the details section of this video. But if you stick with us until the end, you will also find them as title cards in the video itself. Now, let's turn for a moment to our new reporter, D.B. Lovecraft, to let him introduce himself. D.B., can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I've been a reporter for many years, and I've covered a lot of great stories over the years. As part of my new association with Spooky Ventures, I'm doing reporting both for Spooky News and also for Spooky Movie Time with Scary Gary. The first episode of that with me in it went live on June 8th, and I look forward to working with both shows for a long time.
We're glad to have you on board, DB, and I'll let you lead off with the first few news items.
We'll lead things off with some shopping news, which is why I'm broadcasting from this grocery store. It's still a while until spooky season, but we're getting news in about things that will be released to celebrate that time of year. The first news of that variety comes in the form of candy news. It was revealed that there are going to be special flavors of both Kit Kat and Reese's coming for the Halloween season. Kit Kat Ghost Toast will have a cinnamon toast flavor. They will achieve that by adding a cinnamon toast cream to the traditional wafer style of the candy treat. Reese's will be releasing Werewolf Tracks, which adds a vanilla-flavored cream to their usual peanut butter cups. Meanwhile, M&M's are getting in on the spooky fun too. Their chocolate pumpkin pie limited edition flavored candies will be in stores in time for spooky season. Now back to you, Gary.
Thanks, DB. We'll continue with more shopping news, but move out of the grocery store. First, Mezco has announced an 18-inch collectible Art the Clown doll. The Terrifier villain will be represented as a plush doll with some sculpted parts. It won't be available until after spooky season, though, expected to ship at some point between November and January. Looking to Spirit Halloween, they recently announced their upcoming animatronics offerings for this spooky season, and they will have an Art the Clown themselves. Among the other new entries in their list of ghoulies, they will also have a Michael Myers animatronic figure available. From animatronics for your home haunt, let's move on to a theme park haunt feature coming this year. Universal's Halloween Horror Nights will have a new haunted house entry this season. That attraction will be based on the cinematic universe of the A Quiet Place movies. Now let's go back to DB for some news about spooky television.
That's right, Gary. We'll start with the It prequel series, Welcome to Derry. It was recently announced that Bill Skarsgård will be reprising his role as Pennywise in the upcoming series. A 9-episode series is planned and is being produced by Warner Brothers Television. In addition to acting in the Stephen King-based series, Skarsgård will also be an executive producer. Another series in the pipeline is a sort of revival of the classic Munsters television show. While it's still pretty early in the development process, the show is going to be quite a departure from the source material. While the basics will remain, the TV show will be titled 1313 Mockingbird Lane. That was, of course, the address where the Munsters family lived in the sitcom. That brings up the biggest change, really. Rather than a comedy, the new series will be a dark drama series focused on the universal horror origins of the show. Now back to you for some movie news.
The first piece of news I have hits fairly close to home for me. That's because I've written about vampires both in fiction and nonfiction form. For the nonfiction stuff, I did quite a bit of research, which means I'm familiar with a type of vampire of legend called the Voordelac. It's a tale which comes from the area of Romania, and the vampire is not a glamorous being like Bram Stoker's monster. The Voordelac also directs its attacks mainly on its own family members. There's a new movie coming out called The Voordelac, and a trailer has been released. The film is a period piece, and it features that different type of vampire from what a lot of people are used to. I'm anxious to see what they do with the legend. Another movie based on older source material, there's a dark vision of Peter Pan in the works. Expected to hit theaters around Halloween, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare features a horror take on the classic character. It is a standalone movie set in the twisted childhood universe that will be bringing characters including Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, Pinocchio, and of course Peter Pan together in a shared universe and team up. From there, we've got something a little special. Here's a new segment we would like to do more often on these spooky news shows. DB has a short interview with an independent horror filmmaker named Mike Lombardo. And Mike is going to be talking about his upcoming film and the Indiegogo campaign to get it going.
Welcome to Spooky News. Can you tell the viewers a little about yourself and your background, your upcoming movie project, and the Indiegogo campaign to fund it?
Hi there folks, my name is Mike Lombardo. I'm an author and independent horror filmmaker. I'm the writer of the short story collection Please Don't Tap on the Glass and Other Tales of the Melancholy and Grotesque, which has a confusing horizontal cover of an aquarium with mutated fish in it. This has a short story, I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday, in it, which is what eventually became my first feature-length film, which is a post-apocalyptic Christmas movie about a mom and her 7-year-old son starving to death in a bomb shelter after the end of the world. It's kind of like The Road meets Miracle on 34th Street. So we made this film for about $10,000 out of pocket, and it took 4 years of weekends to put it together. Ended up playing all over the world at film festivals, won a bunch of awards, and then went on to get a Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS release through Scream Team Releasing. So very, very proud of this film. It's been about 6 or 7 years now since I've made anything because I got pretty burnt out working on White Doomsday. It took up a significant portion of my life. But the time has come to make a new film. So another story in this book, the most popular story in this book, Dead Format, is becoming my second feature film. And that is the story of a young VHS collector, and this is set in the early 2000s, right before around the brink of the video stores starting to go under. He lost his father, and he's dealing with the grief and the alienation of his family and all of the fallout from that, and kind of isolates himself in his childhood home. He finds out that the video store that he used to frequent as a kid, Video Castle, is going out of business. So he rushes down there to check out all of the selection they have that they're putting up for sale, and comes across a movie he's never heard of before called Next to Die, which is very mysterious and has no description on it or anything. So he buys this tape and then discovers the hard way that it is not a normal movie, and all sorts of bad stuff starts to happen. So it's a cursed tape. Dead Format is a story about grief and nostalgia and loss and friendship and chainsaws and homicidal maniacs crawling out of your TV wearing a Grim Reaper costume, you know, as we've all experienced in our childhood, I'm sure. But it's kind of a love letter to the video rental era. It's very much a love letter to how I grew up in the 90s, and it's also a super personal story just about losing my dad, which is, I wrote the short story Dead Format shortly after that happened. So there is a big undercurrent of melancholy and grief in the story, but it has some humorous stuff in it, and it has some light slasher elements and lots of gore. So it's sure to please any horror fans out there, and anyone who's familiar with my previous work like White Doomsday, or any of the stories, and Please Don't Tap on the Glass. You know that I love to mix dark and depressing stuff with inappropriate humor and all that kind of fun stuff. So right now we're running an Indiegogo campaign for the film. We are trying to raise $60,000 to make it. White Doomsday cost $10,000, so this is a much, much larger movie. So we are trying to raise an actual budget for this. We have a lot of really cool perks. We're actually making a fake video store, Video Castle, entirely from scratch. So we have membership cards that come with most of our perks. These are personalized. I don't know if you actually see that, but your name will be on this. But designing this video store has been a dream of mine since I was a kid. And it's just been fantastic being able to design all of these fake local business things. Like we have staff t-shirts with our little movie night logo, Make Tonight a Movie Night. We have rental boxes, the clamshells, and these are all fake movies that will have their own VHS sleeves, just like this, which is one of our other perks, staff picks, where you can actually get the fake cases for these. But designing all of this stuff has been an absolute blast because all of these fake rental cases and fake covers are old Real Splatter movies and sequels that never happened, including I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday Part 2, Simon's Quest, which we are doing a full photo shoot for here soon. As of this recording, we are at 82% of our $60,000 goal, so we are just under $50,000. The movie will happen regardless of whether or not we raise the $60,000. We're going to explore some private financing. It's just going to slow the production down if we don't make all of that money. But with the support that we've gotten so far, we've been able to push forward with pre-production, and we are actually, as of this morning, casting now, which is really exciting. So to anyone out there who has donated already, thank you so much for the support. We really, really, really appreciate it. If anyone out there who is just hearing about this for the first time, please check out the Indiegogo campaign, Dead Format, Real Splatter Productions. We got lots of cool perks. There's still a couple executive producer perks left. There's copies of the movie on Blu-ray. There's a VHS copy that's super limited. We even have a signed and numbered chat book with essays about my experiences with physical media and growing up as a video store kid in the early 90s, late 80s. Which will also have essays by author Samantha Koliesnik of True Crime and Waif. Brian Keene is a Grandmaster Horror Award-winning author of over 50 novels. He's our executive producer. He'll be doing an essay about purchasing his first VCR in the 80s in Tijuana while he was in the Navy. And of course, Nathan Ludwig, who runs Genre Blast Film Festival, is our other producer. He's also a fantastic author of books like Love Potion 666 and The Comfy Cozy Nihilist. He will also be contributing an essay to that book. So that's going to be super limited, exclusive to the campaign. We've got, I said, VHS tapes, we've got Blu-rays, we have screen use props. All of these video cases will be in the actual film. So we are selling all the original props, and they're going to be signed by myself and some of the other people involved in the movie. You can get a prop replica of Next to Die, the actual rental case like this. So we've got all sorts of cool stuff. You can get signed copies of both White Doomsday and Please Don't Tap on the Glass. You can read the original short story. You can watch my other film. Yeah, we appreciate any help that you can give us. Super appreciate being on the show here right now. This is awesome. So thank you. Anyone out there who is listening, please check out the campaign, and if you can help us out, that would be great. If you can't donate money, sharing is just as important. We can help beat the icy tendrils of the algorithm on Facebook and Twitter and all the other social media platforms. The more people that the word gets out to, the better shot we have at getting this movie made. So please, please, please help us make Dead Format and enjoy the film.
Thanks for all the great information and for being our guest.
Support Dead Format at indiegogo.com/project/dead-format. That brings us to the end of the actual news items. In a moment, I'll turn it back over to DB for a look at our events calendar for some important dates. Before that, though, we have two reminders. First, please interact with us. Like our videos, share our videos, and subscribe to the channel. Comment on our videos and reach out with a message. Secondly, for more information on any of the things we've talked about in this news update, stay tuned for all the URLs after we're done talking, or look in the details section of the video. DB, tell the viewers a little bit about the Spooky Ventures calendar and go over some of the dates on the list, please.
Sure, Gary. The Spooky Ventures calendar lists dates of all things that should be of interest to fans of the spooky world. You can always find the calendar at the main page at spookyventures.com. If you scroll down near the bottom of the main page, you'll find the link for the calendar. We've got quite a few dates on the calendar this time. First, Tiger Stripes opens today. Horror metal icon King Diamond's birthday is also today. Next Thursday, the 20th, a movie with a ridiculously long title, Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, opens. The Exorcism hits theaters the following day on the 21st. Monday the 24th is the anniversary of early horror author Ambrose Bierce's birthday. That Friday, the 28th, there are two movies opening. The first is one you talked about, The Vordelak, and the other is A Quiet Place Day 1, which you actually indirectly referenced in the news about Halloween Horror Nights.
Thank you, DB. That takes us to the end of another episode of Spooky News from Spooky Ventures. We'll be back sometime in July with the next edition. In the meantime, remember, spooky is a lifestyle, not a season, so always keep it spooky. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.